Welcome back to another episode of WWTA News. I thank you all for returning for another episode. Not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right in there, get to what's going on. Got some articles here, so let's just get it started. All right, first article, the ISO 20022 migration in Australia, insights from AusPayNet CEO Andy White. All right, Mr. Andy. On Monday, 20th of March 2023, more than 11,000 institutions in over 200 countries and territories, their vendors and technology teams, and many domestic payment platforms went live with ISO 20022 for payments and related messaging. It was one of the largest migrations ever undertaken by financial institutions and represented a once-in-a-generation change. In Australia, 50 large domestic and international financial institutions migrated key pillars of the Australian payment system, the domestic real-time gross settlement system, and high-value clearing system to the ISO 20022 messaging format, marking one of the most significant transformations of the Australian payment system in recent times. So, parts of their system, they have moved into ISO messaging system. So Australia has began their transition as a whole to move their system into this new system, right? Coordinated by our team at Australian Payments Network, AusPayNet, the successful ISO 20022 migration is the culmination of 4 years of collaboration between regulators and participants in the Australian payments industry and has been completed in alignment with the global upgrade of the cross-border payment system coordinated by SWIFT. The program commenced with a consultation process facilitated by the RBA in 2019, in which the RBA recommended that AusPayNet manage the migration program. It has since featured extensive collaboration between 50 HVCs, participant financial institutions in building, testing, and implementing key aspects of the new messaging standard in Australia. So Australia started their transition to move major key pillars, right? So I had a conversation with a peer, a good friend, about what's going on with these transitions and how come we haven't seen a major growth financially yet. And so we were talking about this, and it's like, okay, well, is it that maybe they were getting their structure set up? Like here we're reading their pillars, their major pillars set up, so that they can begin to use the technology on a regular basis, and they haven't started collecting the assets that they need to do these transitions, and they're just getting all these things set up. Maybe. I'm sure a lot of you are looking at this and wondering, well, if all these things are happening, how come we haven't seen a major increase? Well, everything seems to be moving slow. I'm not sure. I only look at stuff like this and I wonder if this is what they mean. These setting up these foundations and these major pillars for their networks to operate, right? So this could be an understanding of what's happening. Just could be. Through implementation of ISO 20022 globally, interoperability can be achieved between payment systems and networks by speaking the same language. And we heard, what was it? Was it Yellen or Lagarde? One of them were talking about, might have been Yellen talking about the, no, it wasn't. It was the senator. What's her name? I can't remember the senator's name. But it was in a past video a few days ago, and she was talking about, no matter what language you use to move money, here it is right here. No matter what language you use to move money, it's going to always be upgraded, updated, and you're always going to need to have a language, right? She's talking about the messaging systems, what language is being used, right? So it's above us. It's basically what they're talking about is messaging systems to move money around. So it says overheads associated with translation and conversion can be removed. Payments will travel more easily between payment networks around the globe, increasing reach and overcoming the fragmentation found between systems and networks based on different formats. It also future-proofs payments, meaning that a new payments technology and development can efficiently connect right? So this language allows other languages to connect. Domestically given ISO 20022 payment messages can carry richer, more enhanced, and structured data. The migration will lead to significant improvements to process, automation, interoperability, and corporate consumer experience in Australian payments. So the smart contracts, AI, once all the having the system set up opens the door for the other technologies that you can now use. So whatever the language may be, whether you're using, I don't know, Ethereum based or whatever the case may be, you're going to use these languages a part of this system to run this new financial system. That's all we're seeing here. And you know all we just looking at all these countries, banks, nations, institutions having their framework set up, and they have not started collecting their assets or their currencies needed to make these things work, but they've just been getting everything set up. So hey, I'm just sharing that. Could be, not sure. All right, next article. Real world tokenization is surging as TradeFi grows more receptive to blockchain. Blockchain-based tokenization of real-world assets is gaining traction among major financial service firms and other big brands. That makes a number of industry watchers upbeat about the trend in 2023. They say tokenization of RWA, real-world assets, a way of putting ownership of tangible assets such as stocks and bonds on the blockchain, offers the convenience of buying and selling these assets around the clock, because the transactions do not involve traditional brokers. Cut out the middleman. You don't need nobody special in front of you to get into these practices of growing money. All that's done, right? You saw an end to a degree with apps like Cash App. What's this other one? Come on, Robinhood. Some more of them. Come on. I can't think of all the names, but you saw something like this happening, but there's still a middleman there, right? You are allowed to buy fractions, right, going through these apps, but there's still a broker there, right? So guess what's going to happen? Coming to the future near you any day now. These assets are going to be brought onto the blockchain. And then you'll be able to go to exchanges and purchase these assets and then store them on your digital wallet or your ledger. And you'll have ownership of those shares, right, of the companies that you're investing in, right? And so you'll be the owner of this. And I want to say this too, because this opens up a world of thoughts. I want you to think about generational wealth here. Think about now that you're able to get your shares of these stocks and then bring them onto your own ledger and then store them. Your generational wealth is now stored by you, right? So it used to be the olden time you needed to trust. You had to go to these particular people and learn and understand how trust works, set up these contracts, and then you better hope you got the right contract and somebody didn't sneak a lie to you. Have your contract set up, and then every so many years you got to change your contract up, right? All that in a sense becomes dead going forward in the future, because if you're using a digital, a hard wallet, a cold storage wallet, digital wallet to store assets, right, money, you become your own bank for your family, right? So then your family can come together in your own agreements and make decisions, right? Because you can have all that information stored for access, and only the select few that need to be making decisions for your family can make those decisions. So that kind of deads the trust. You don't need contracts anymore. And so where we're at is physical contracts drawn up by men can be corrupt, right? And if you don't understand contract or contract law, then you can get the short end of the stick. And that itself is mind-blowing. So this article here should open up your eyes to the future of what's coming. All right. So that in itself is amazing. I'm thinking to myself now, like, what good is stock shares? You know what I'm saying? Not financial advice. I'm thinking to myself, and I'm thinking out loud, and get in the comments and share your thoughts. But it's like, if we know this is coming to the future, how is this going to change in front of us? What should we be doing in preparation for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is amazing. If you have shares of stocks, will these vendors convert it over, or will you need to get rid of yours and then go to these exchanges and pick up your shares of these stocks yourself? Mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? A million questions running through my head. I'm sure running through your heads as well. But anyways, I'm gonna close there. I hope you gained or gleaned some insight from these articles, and you can put it to use to better the future of your family, friends, and loved ones. And I'll catch you all in the next episode.